So as a student pilot, or perhaps a newly qualified pilot, you might be thinking you need to spend over £1,000 to get a decent A&R headset. But today I'm going to show you how I bought a second-hand Bose Aviation headset, refreshed a few parts and ended up with a genuinely premium flying experience for a fraction of the cost. Hi, my name is Dale and this is Left Seat Culture, a channel about flying gear and the culture of aviation. Most of what I cover is general aviation, but hopefully it's of interest to all pilots, whatever it is that you fly. So I have in my hands here the Bose A20 aviation headset. I bought myself these, I think it must have been 3 or 4 years ago after I kind of passed my PPL as a treat to myself. I think they cost me around £1,000. Now a new set of Bose A30 aviation headset will cost you around £1,270. And again, they are fantastic headsets and they are definitely worth the money. But when you've newly passed, or perhaps more so when you're a kind of a trainee pilot, £1,000 or £1,300 is a hell of a lot of money. That's a lot of flying hours, that's a lot of tuition. So where you can, obviously you want to try and save your money, but without compromising quality. So what I did when I was a student, I bought a second-hand Bose X or Bose A10 aviation headset. I bought a refurbished pack and made them pretty much as good as new. And that gave me an A&R headset of top quality, so Bose quality, but with a fraction of the price. And for me, it really helped my training because I've got a better quality headset, I'm not having to rent or borrow anything, it's not passive, and it really helps get clarity on the radio as well. So in this video, I've bought another A10 or Bose X headset that I'm using for an additional set for passengers. I'm going to show you where I bought them, how much it cost, and then we'll go through and do the refurb. So inside this bag is the Bose X aviation headsets I recently bought off eBay. They cost me £290, which seems to be about the going rate for this kind of headset. Now, I'll be upfront, the headset is old. I can't remember when they first came out, 2009 or something it might have been, but they still work absolutely brilliantly. And again, in my opinion, cost a fraction of the price. And then we buy this little refurb kit for around £20, which is again how we're going to make them in tip top. So obviously things to consider when buying them, make sure you get the right ones. So for me, dual GA plugs is really important. I want the cable to all be intact. I don't want there to be any corrosion in the battery pack or anything like that. I expect that the ear muffs and other things are going to be a bit worn out or a bit tired, and then that's what we're going to cover in the refurb. If you do find like a bargain pair that are even cheaper but the cables are ruined or something, there are options I think where you can send them back to Bose and get them to do some refurb. Obviously there's an expense to that. There is also some options to change out the kind of little aviation audio bit, you know, the bit that's on the newer models has Bluetooth and things like that. You can swap them out, I believe, but again for me this is mainly for passengers. But I guess that is a good point. Obviously the Bose X doesn't have Bluetooth or anything, and obviously in theory the A&R is not quite as good as the more modern ones, but I really challenge you to kind of notice them. Obviously hygiene is another thing. One thing you'll often find with the people that are selling these, they've not flown for a while, so they've just been kind of sat in a box or a cupboard, so the box in the interior can sometimes smell a little bit fousty. So I recommend giving that a good spray with Febreze. And then the headset itself, in terms of hygiene, I just give it a wipe over with an antibacterial wipe, which you'll see as we kind of put all the stuff back together. But I'll do some close-ups, but just to show you in general, like I said, the bag itself is in absolute brilliant condition. You can give that a good wipe down if you wanted. Mine even has the original certification stuff at the top, and again, all looks pretty good. The main things you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna want to check, make sure that the main kind of module box is all good, and when you pop open the battery compartment, there's no battery corrosion or anything. You can clean those things up if you have to, but again, if you can avoid it, even better. But again, the main things that you're going to find that look a little bit tired are going to be the mic. You can see this one's just completely falling apart. The earmuffs are going to be a little bit tired and warm. Basically the foam is going to have lost all its bounciness. And then again, just from a hygiene perspective, the kind of the fluffy headlining piece tends to be in good condition, but again, you're going to want to change that out as well. So before we go into doing the refurb, you might again be questioning, why do you need to do this anyway? You've got some headsets already that you can use at your school, or perhaps you've got some passive headsets. and you're perfectly happy with them. And if you are, that's fantastic. The reason I decided personally to go with the Bose, I really like the feel of them. The clamping force is really good around my head, so I find that, you know, they're very comfortable to wear for a long period of time. The A&R is the main thing that really stands out to me. A&R stands for active noise reduction, and what it does is, especially in a single engine piston aircraft where it's a bit noisier, obviously reduces those sounds. So a few things happen. You've got noise reduction, that tends to reduce the fatigue on you when you're flying, especially for a long period of time, but especially as a student, you've got so much information going on, the fatigue is already at the maximum, so anything you can do to reduce that is much better. They also have pretty good battery life. Obviously you need 2 AA batteries in there to have the active noise reduction functioning, but the batteries last for hours and hours and hours and hours, so it's really good. But even in the little boxes you have slots to hold 4 spare batteries, so you can cover that anyway. And again, as I already mentioned, I think the old Bose headsets still really kind of stand out and stand up to things. And the main thing why I think any A&R headset is better than passive ones is it really does help with radio clarity. Depending on the equipment you're using, the distance you are from the station you're talking to, how much chatter is going on the radio, especially as a student pilot, it can be really hard to get the radio clarity to understand what's happening. And again, especially when you're learning, it all sounds like gibberish anyway, doesn't it? So having clarity that the A&R brings is really, for me, another reason why it makes perfect sense to kind of do some kind of cheap upgrade like this and basically save yourself, what, about £800, something like that. Brilliant. Okay, so hopefully this camera angle works. So again, we've got the headset itself. We just get that out of the bag. Move that to one side. So again, as we look at the headset, the main things that we're going to notice that we're going to do some refurb on is the mic muff. It's definitely seen better days. It's actually disintegrating every time we touch it. And then the ear muffs as well. Again, they've lost some of their sponginess. They feel a bit icky. And then purely really from a hygiene perspective, the headset kind of fluffy piece here, again, they actually tend to fare quite well, but could do a little bit of a cleanup or removal. So we just replace that. You can probably see already on the table as we look at this mic, it's just disintegrating as we take it apart. So I'll just clear some of that out of the way and then show you what we get in the refurb kit. So again, we get some nice fresh earmuffs. We get a new mic piece. We get some new ear innards as well. And then a new kind of headpiece, bit of fluff. So let me take you through kind of what I do. So let's just get these little bits and bobs out of the way and take things apart. So first and obvious thing to do is we just pop this mic bit off. And again, it's literally just going to disintegrate. There's a very small piece of Velcro on that one side that helps kind of hold things in place. So what I tend to do, I have some compressed air, just give it a quick blast. And then obviously other antibacterial wipes are available. I just tend to have these available in the house, so I just grab one of those and just give that a wipe over. And again, you're not making it very wet, so it's going to dry off naturally anyway. So I'll just leave that. Then the headpiece here is just in on Velcro, so you can just then take that off altogether. Again, we pop that to one side, and again, you can just have a little quick inspection to make sure there's no binding of the cables or anything, but you'll see that is absolutely fine. Then again, it's hard to show on the video completely, but I then just give that just a general wipe over all of the surfaces here. I do it in this way instead of all around, just as I get to each piece. Gives me another opportunity to visually inspect them. Again, you can see older style, but in really good condition. And then obviously the final bits for us to do is to take the headset earmuffs off. So again, they just kind of clip into the sides here, but you'll find as they're old, they're pretty much just going to fall apart. So again, just take those off. And again, we're going to remove this inner piece as well, but first I'd like to give that a quick spray over as well to make sure any of the fluff doesn't pop inside if it's a bit loose. This tends to be the bit that has the most sticky residue on, because obviously it gets hot, clamped against someone's head. And then again in here, being careful, because obviously it's quite fragile in here where the electronics are, we just grab that and pull it out. Again, same on both sides. Okay, so then I'll just give it all a nice kind of clean up and around, give it a good wipe, clean up my surface, and then get ready to install the new bit. So let me just give them a wipe round, clean my desk, and then we get ready to install the new bits. Okay, so that's mine all nicely cleaned up. Look at that. So that was a dirty bit all over with. On a little bit of inspection, I noticed I've got a little bit of cracking just there. That's where it kind of pivots on that point there. Same on the other side. Doesn't affect, obviously, the usage or anything. So now let's improve them. So I start off doing what I think is the harder bit first, and then move on to the easy bit. So the hardest bit is actually getting the cushioning on, but to do that, first of all, I need to put these new liners in. And you can see already they just look so much nicer than what was taken out. So again, these just go underneath, and into here. And again, as long as it's neat enough, they're going to be covered by the earmuffs anyway. This is just basically just to protect the electronics that we have in the headset. Okay, so once that's in and you're happy enough, I'm not super happy with that one there, but it's going to work, then we get the new muffs out. Okay, so before we install the earmuffs, I did just realise that I still had the original bits kind of just hooked back on the outer side. So just remove those if you haven't done already, just give things another wipe down. And then to install these, basically you can kind of see there's a little edging that goes all the way around these, and we just need to get that around this edging here. So again, just see how well it turns up on the camera. I just got to get this all the way around, all the way around, and do that on both sides. And then we'll be done with what I think is the hardest bit of the refurb. Again, it's not super hard, just a bit time consuming. So unfortunately for me, the microphone battery ran out when I was recording this, so just time for a voiceover. As you can see, once the earmuffs are on, it all looks really good, and already the headphones are starting to look like a brand new set, really. So look nice, feel nice, and no more kind of stickiness on the earmuffs at all. So now the next thing to do is just to install the kind of upper head muff. And again, you've got a couple of options here. It comes with replacement Velcro bits that if you need to replace those in the headset, you can take them out. But obviously in this particular headset, it's absolutely fine. So again, we can just take the Velcro off and reuse the existing Velcro that's already on the headset. And again, this really simply just pushes into place. Again, a little bit fiddly because really you could do an extra pair of hands, but just position it up, Velcro onto the one side, and then again over to the other side. And then just make sure that the clasp opens up fully so it can go around your head and it's not kind of snagging or catching or anything. That's going to work perfectly fine. And now that's done, really the only thing left to do is to put the mic muff cover on. So again, that comes with a mic muff cover and then this little kind of round O-ring that then slides on to kind of provide extra kind of retention of that mic fluff cover. But as mentioned in the beginning, there is a little bit of Velcro on there, and that basically will help hold this into place anyway. So just push that down, put it around over the top of the Velcro, and then just push it around on the Velcro piece. That will help hold it in place. And then just slide that little O-ring over the top. You can see there's a little indent that you just need to kind of pull it back to. And then once that's in place, it obviously looks smarter, and then there's less chance of that kind of coming off in your bag or whatever. So that's it, all done. And it looks, I think, absolutely fabulous. Considering how old these headsets are, they still work really, really well. And that's why I still think it's a good bargain price for the money. What do you think? Looks amazing, doesn't it? Again, well worth the upgrade, in my opinion. So I really hope this video has been helpful. I just want to kind of restate some of the positive negatives of kind of buying and upgrading a second-hand headset. Obviously, the first one being it's a used purchase. So obviously buying anything used comes with some kind of risk. So again, the main thing for me to check is that the seller believes that the last time they used it was in working condition. There's no obvious cable wear issues, and there's no kind of battery leakage in that middle compartment. If the pictures aren't available, definitely ask for them and get them. That gives you a little bit more reassurance as well. I have read on some forums about risks of counterfeit headsets. I've never heard of anyone having that with the Bose ones, but again, buyers beware, I guess, but I wouldn't be too put off by that. Obviously, because the headset is old, there's going to be potential support limitations from Bose as well. But again, in my experience, these products are really well built. Most pilots tend to look after their kit because it's not cheap anyway. So I still think even though it's old, you're going to have many years of enjoyment. And again, if like me, it's most likely that at some point in the future, you will treat yourself to some brand spanking new ones. But then these are still great for passengers that you take, again, in the right seat or in the back as well, which is why I bought that extra set. Obviously, because they are older, they don't have the Bluetooth options, which again, I don't think is that important. But again, you can buy and wire in that module, I believe. But again, that's extra expense and kind of defeats the object of this, in my opinion. And then finally, obviously, if you're a style aficionado, they are the old version of the styling, so don't look the same as the A20s and A30s. But again, I still think they look really good and professional. So that's it. I still think if you're a student pilot or a newly qualified private pilot, then this is generally something really worth considering. An older Bose A&R headset is one of the best value upgrades that I think you can make. If you enjoyed this video and you have found it helpful, please consider liking, subscribing to Left Seat Culture. Also consider sharing this video and the channel with others in the aviation community. I'd really would appreciate it. If you also want to carry on the discussion, we also have a free to join Discord channel. I'm in there as other like-minded pilots in the Left Seat Culture crew, so feel free to hop in there and become part of the discussion. Also consider following me on TikTok and Instagram as well if you want some of the kind of little shorts and reels that I do on there as well. But that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If I'm really lucky, I will see you in the next one. Take care of yourself and goodbye for now.